good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hope you're all doing well. It's been a week since I did a live stream, so I thought I'd hop on here and let's spew some facts. It's become increasingly evident reading my comment sections to the videos that I've been putting out over the last few days that there are people following the Sebastian Rogers case over there in Tennessee that don't seem to know the facts. Now, that's understandable if you've been listening to the nonsense spreaders and that's all you've heard. If you weren't in it right from the beginning, you might not have heard the facts, because all the facts came out very early on in the case. And because there's been no new facts, the only new facts we've got really are from the parents who've, every now and again been on live streams. And I want to, for this live stream, I want to step away from that. I want to say, what do we have that's objective? What do we have that's actually from official sources, not people who think they know, and not the parents? Because, you can either sit on one side or the other. You can either be on Team Seth or Team Chris and Katie. And you all have your own opinions. Whichever side you're on, you have your own opinions. You have your own interpretations. And that's fine. That's fine. But what I want to do in this live stream is take it right the way back, dial it all the way back to the beginning. So, sadly, your facts are actually fiction. All right, Patricia. Okay, cool. All right. Great. Fantastic. Fantastic. We're off to a great start. We're off to a great start. So what we're going to do is we're going to listen to every single press conference. So according to Patricia, the things that were said at the press conferences are fiction. All right. So we're going to listen to the fiction that was put out by law enforcement that is actually facts that people can't, for whatever reason, seem to want to digest. But laying it all out in one live stream, there can be no misinterpretation of this. This is from law enforcement. We're also going to listen to the first hour of the dispatch audio that was very cleverly put together. Let me just share my screen here. Let me share my screen here. And make it bigger. The channel Jessica Danielle, she put together the first 11 hours of the dispatch audio in 20 minutes. The reason being is when you listen to dispatch audio, there's a lot of dead space. There's a lot of just nobody saying anything, like the line's open, but nobody's saying anything. Or it's about other cases, because this is from Sumner County Dispatch. And believe it or not, on the 26th of February, they did have other cases. So we're only going to listen to the first hour. I have on two previous occasions, two previous live streams, gone through this entire dispatch audio and discussed it. So I've done that twice. I'm not going to do it again. We're just going to play the first hour, because that was, the very first boots on the ground, the very first things that were said by law enforcement over the radio. Then we're going to get into the presses, and then finally we're going to go to the TBI and we're going to read the TBI newsroom facts. Because, look, I put on every single Sebastian video, I put a link to the TBI newsroom. And I don't know how many of you have ever read it. I've read it on previous live streams, but I'm going to read it again. So that's what we're going to do. So Hope you're all buckled in. Down Under with Love has been a member for 27 months. Team Sebastian and Common Sense. Yeah, I'm not on anyone's team apart from Sebastian's. I'm not on Seth's side. I'm not on Chris and Katie's side. It's my personal opinion that none of the parents have got anything directly to do with Sebastian's disappearance. Indirectly, possibly. If he was upset by, I don't know, whatever was going on at the time. If he, was mulling over the possibility of going living at Seth's, which he didn't want to do because he didn't want to do online school. Things like that. Where, yes, you do have the involvement of the parents because, maybe they're discussing and Sebastian may be overhearing them discussing things to do with his life that he's not happy with. But that's not criminal, is it? No. And probably every teenager at some point is upset by things that the parents are doing, even if the parents believe it's in that child's best interest. That child doesn't like it. That child doesn't want it. I personally think it would have been disastrous for Sebastian to do online school, given that he wanted to have friends and he enjoyed going to school at Beach High School. So, but then again, I wasn't there. And I'm not Sebastian. I'm not one of his parents. I don't know Sebastian. Just from an outsider looking in. That's all. There's so much evidence against the prophet. There's not, though. There's no evidence against anybody. There's no actual evidence against anybody. Whether that's Chris, Katie, Seth, another member of the family, or anyone else. There's no evidence against anybody. The only evidence, quote unquote, against anybody is in the minds of people who've got vested interests in saying that. There's actually zero evidence against anybody. There's zero evidence Sebastian walked out of the house. Untrue. Untrue, plant lady. All right. I'm going to start with the dispatch audio. Let me know that the sound is okay. I'm guessing that I don't even know why I put slow mode on, but I guess it will help the mods just a little bit. I guess that this live stream ain't going to get that busy because it says facts in the title, Put drama in the title, might get 1,000 people in the chat. But anyhow, let's do this. So this is Jessica Danielle's channel. All of the links to everything that I'm going to be playing are in the description box already. So if you want to go back after the live stream and listen to any of this again, you can. You can just go to the description box and the links are all there for you. It is a sad truth that drama sells, absolutely. The boy had no shoes. He either ran out in a hurry without them or something worse. Well, it could have possibly have been that he enjoyed going out for walks with bare feet. Or, as I suspect, I think he had a pair of shoes. I absolutely believe he had a pair of shoes that his parents weren't aware of. Anyhow, that's my opinion. So we start off at 6:39. I believe that the 911 call was made at 6:33. So I am going to interject. I'm not going to interject too much, but I am going to interject. And the audio isn't great because this is dispatch audio. Jessica Danielle has put subtitles on already. So that's great. It must have taken her forever to do this. But I'm just letting you know that it's not fantastic audio. But we'll get through it. We're only going to listen to the first hour of this dispatch audio. So it's actually only the first few minutes. And then we're going to get straight into the press conferences. It was not a 911 call. Oh, okay. You're splitting hairs. All right. Chris called the Sumner County Sheriff's Office. Yes, he called the Sumner County Sheriff's Office because they're outside the city limits. Chris was calling from Memphis, and he didn't want to be put through to this person and that person and that person. So he made a direct call to Sumner County Sheriff's Office, all right, to report Sebastian missing. And within 6 minutes, there were boots on the ground. Do I feel like I'm bashing my head against a brick wall? Yes. But that's what people want me to feel. Therefore, I don't mind. What about a pair of boots? He could have had a pair of boots. Like, he could have had an old pair of boots, an old pair of shoes, an old pair of anything that his parents didn't know about. All right. Without further ado.
1008 Stafford Court, 1008 Stafford Court, Hendersonville. Caller advised that the 15-year-old male is not in the bed. Medium white male, 30 blonde hair, approximately 5 foot, 120 pounds. Going to be wearing a black sweatshirt, black sweatpants. Juvenile does have a pharmacologism. This is the first time it happened. Going to be in the home before midnight. The doors are locked at this time.
All right, so these are the things that were said when Chris called Sumner County. So, white male wearing black sweatpants, black top. That's what Katie last saw him wearing. And the doors were locked. He's never done this before. Okay, not in his bed. Katie went in at about 6 a.m. He wasn't in his bed. She had a look round. She drove round. She was actually still driving round when these guys were en route. So we got the first guy en route here.
Central to 47-180, 412. Juvenile left his son at the house. The mother is driving around looking for him in the Victoria Place subdivision.
All right, so Katie's currently driving around looking for him.
And she is driving a baby blue Infiniti.
And she's driving a baby blue Infiniti. So I'm guessing she's telling them that so that they know where Katie is. And if they see a baby blue Infiniti, then that's Katie. And if they turn up at the house and there's no one there, it's because Katie's driving around looking for him.
Let's get there and see what's going on. Do our own searches of residence. We'll go from there. I'm in the area. Check long haul up. Just seeing it.
You can text me as this file and route to the missing juvenile.
I took Personal Medical Center ER, Center Station ER, Center Regional ER, and Skyline, all clear of the juvenile.
All right, so dispatch have checked the ER. Like there's no medical center, but they've checked the ER and he's not there.
The Code Red has been launched.
Code Red has been launched, which is obviously high risk. Jessica Daniels put on here. So people get notification by telephone, text message, email, and social media of time-sensitive information, emergencies, or urgent notifications. As you register to receive Code Red alerts, you have the ability to select the types of messages you wish to receive and your preferred means of communication. So they're not going to go out to every single person in the area. It looks like you have to register for them. We don't have this system in the UK, so I'm just literally reading what's on the screen. The Amber Alert was initiated the day after. So it initially wasn't an Amber Alert, but it soon was.
745.
Next big track back up.
All right, so we know we're in. So there's been boots on the ground. They'd initiated the search of residences by this time. One of the cops said he was going to start doing the house to house. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Run the World. That's so kind of you. Thank you for the $49.99. Thanks for doing Cold Case Christmas. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I love Cold Case Christmas. I'm sad it's over. I'm really sad it's over. I was enjoying it. But They're all there. I think we've got 76 episodes now. Did 27 episodes this year. And there was 40... What was there? 49 episodes from the first 2 seasons and 27 episodes in season 3. So I think it's 76 episodes in a playlist over on Michelle Walks. All right, so we are an hour in. I'm just going to let this play because this is Max doing the first track. So they'd already started the search of residences. They already had the first dog on the ground, Max the German Shepherd from Sumner County, and they'd already checked the ER, so they knew where he wasn't.
Going into the construction site over here back towards the beach. It's awful muddy. Do you see any footprints, anything? Couldn't have any shoes. Doug, is it? I do have some footprints.
Right there where you're standing?
Yeah, leading right over here to the retaining.
No shoes, just footprints?
He literally dug into it. Max led me straight to the retaining pond. He dug into the water.
So Jessica Danielle kind of missed that, but he said he dove straight into the water. So he tracked up to the construction site. So from the house, and you hear in one of the press conferences coming up that they tracked away from the house. So people and even mainstream media have said there were no dog tracks. It's absolutely categorically untrue. Absolutely categorically untrue. You've heard it. You've heard it here on the dispatch audio. The first dog on scene, Max the German Shepherd from Sumner County, tracked up to the retaining pond, and then they were heading back towards beach because he lost the scent at the retaining pond. Okay, so that's what happened in the first hour. As the morning progressed, they went house to house on Kelling, Stafford Court, Willow Bend, which is the new section where the construction site is, Honeysuckle, and the houses are quite sparse on Long Hollow, kind of the main road. There's a few houses on there. And they went house to house looking for cameras, searching yards. If they didn't get any answer, they searched the yards themselves. They checked crawl spaces. They checked caves that were on properties, all in the first morning. All right. So if you've not heard this before, I strongly, strongly, strongly recommend you go and listen to this, the first 11 hours. And it's bizarre that it's only had 10K views after all this time. And it's probably the most useful video. It's certainly up there in the top 5 most useful videos on this case. Jessica Danielle did a fantastic job on this. I strongly recommend everybody go and listen to it multiple times because there's so much in it. So much. So many little nuggets in it. All right, so now we're going to go to the first press conference. This was on the 27th of February. So this is Eric Craddock, who at the time was the chief deputy of Sumner County. He is now the sheriff. But at the time in February, he was the chief deputy. And also Ken Widener comes and speaks as well. Ken Widener is the chief of Sumner County emergency place. That's where they're actually at. Again, audio's not great. I've put the CCs on. Every single press conference that they do for missing people, they seem to find the noisiest place. They like stand beside a road. They find the noisiest place they can. It's just a thing that they do. All right, so this is the 27th. So Sebastian's been missing just over 24 hours at this point. All right, so heading into this. So this is 12 minutes. He does answer some questions on this. I'm going to stop it a little, but I'm not going to stop it too many times. Again, link to all of these press conferences that I'm playing are in the description box. Please do go and listen to them again. If you're new to the case and you've only ever heard people talking at it from their perspective, please go and listen to what law enforcement said in the early days. It's the most important information you can have to understand, absolutely understand where law enforcement have always come from. Thank you, Vivian, for being a member for 28 months. Thank you so much. I definitely will never change. I couldn't change even if I wanted to. All right, let's go.
At this point, how does it compare to yesterday?
Today is what I'll describe as a redundant search. We have mapped out more search grids, sent responders out to specific grids. They search that area, they clear it, they come back, they get another search grid, and they go back out. Yesterday, we, for lack of a better term, we threw everything that we possibly could throw at this. I'll show you a picture of the map in just a moment. We absolutely obliterated covering the area where Sebastian could have walked off to. Obviously, there's a litany of things that could have happened to Sebastian, and none of them we can presume are credible or validate yet. So we're doing everything we can. Every lead that we get, we're following. If someone calls and says, hey, I think we saw him by the pond, we're going to the pond and checking.
And they absolutely did. Like the day previous, again, this is the 27th. So this is kind of day 2 of their search. You hear it on the dispatch that such a person's called, there was a kid seen on Hogan's, is it called Hogan's Branch Road or something like that? And they went and checked that out. There was a kid seen with his dad at a creek. They went and checked that out. There was a kid seen walking across the fields near the construction site, and it was determined it was one of the neighbour kids who was following law enforcement around, kind of helping them, so to speak. They went and checked that out. They sent the drone, one of the drone pilots saw this mysterious figure. Turns out it was a mannequin. You hear all of that on the dispatch audio. Thank you so much. 9 thumbs up. Thank you for the $3. That's so kind. Thank you very much. Okay, so that immediate vicinity was all checked in that first morning, and then they branch out.
Nothing's off the table at this point.
Okay, and I guess the priority has it moved from a 2-perimeter search, right, 2-mile perimeter, to now how wider?
We're at about 5-mile width right now. We keep, as we clear the areas, we keep expanding. We do get calls and tips from time to time, and we take some of the teams we have here, respond to that area, and either cooperate or.
And let me just reiterate here: 5 miles out, a 5-mile radius. That was their search area. Now, obviously, just in 24 hours, they won't have been able to cover every single inch of a 5-mile radius. That's a huge amount, But what they did do was because at this point, they're looking for a live human being who can assist in their own rescue. So they're doing I guess you would say, a hasty search, that they're sending the drones up, they're sending the helicopters up, they've got a fixed-wing plane that they sent up, doing circles. And then they've got boots on the ground, checking out leads and doing grids in the immediate vicinity. So that's kind of how it's working. In the next press conference, they show the map that he's kind of talking through. So it makes more sense once you see that map.
Invalidate the tip.
Okay, great. And we know that you guys earlier were saying that you're not discouraging the public from coming out. Is that still the same message now?
So right now we have.
That's far from what? 5 miles? 5 miles? He's not 3. He's 15. Of course he can walk 5 miles. You can do 5 miles in about an hour and a bit. I can walk, if I do brisk walking, I can walk 5 miles in probably about maybe an hour and 20 minutes. Brisk walk. Dear me. Get out your car and do some walking. 5 miles ain't very far.
Have enough first responders on the ground here that we can communicate with, that have the same training. They have the apps that we use to track, and there's a litany of reasons that it's important right now. There may come a time when we call on the public to come out and help us search, but right now we have plenty of first responders on scene. The best thing the public can do to help us is keep sharing it on social media. If you see something, say something. Call the Sumner County Emergency Communication Center at 615-451-3838 and check your home surveillance video. Just check. If you see something, call us. We'll come out and look. I think that that's going to be what breaks the case, is somebody's home surveillance video seeing something.
Okay. And at what point are people going to?
And sadly, 10 months down the line, that hasn't happened. But what we absolutely do know is that the FBI went and did experiments on Kellen to see what could be seen at night on those surveillance cameras that were in existence on the at the houses on Kellen, and the FBI determined that somebody walking down the road wearing black could not be seen on those cameras.
Coming out and invited to come out in those searches. I know a lot of people are itching to come out.
They absolutely are.
But I guess they would have been hoping that maybe he could have been seen on someone's trail camera, or he could have been seen on someone's Ring doorbell, you know, further away where the driveways aren't so long. You know, I guess, you know, we've got the benefit of hindsight 10 months down the line. They didn't at this time.
County is the greatest place on earth. I truly believe that. We have the absolute greatest citizens here, but we also have the best law enforcement relationships in the county. We've got people from across the state here, the TBI, Tennessee Highway Patrol, Hendersonville's here, Gallatin sent people. We have plenty of first responders. So my urge to the public right now would be to check your home videos and stay rested, because when the call comes, we'll put it out on social media, and that's when we'll need you to come.
Okay. And then, did you want to speak as well before we continue? Okay, I'm going to get you mic'd up.
So this is Ken Widener. He's coming having a word. Sumner County EMA. Thank you, Brady Violation 71 for the $3.99. Intriguing name, but thank you so much. So this is Ken Widener. What he says in the next conference, I think, is probably the most important information that we've heard from the authorities. But I'll not preempt it.
In the meantime, is when you approach this search, is it different looking for a child than an adult?
It's definitely different looking for a child with autism. Yesterday, we consulted with someone in the first responder world who does emergency management, who also has children who are autistic, and she kind of laid it out for some things that I didn't understand or comprehend at first. She gave us a lot of tips and tricks. So we've had several calls from people with autistic relatives that have told us, hey, have you thought about this? And listen, there's nothing off the table. I don't care how crazy it sounds. If it's going to help me find Sebastian, get him home safe to his family, I'm going to do it.
And what are some of those considerations that go into looking for a child with autism?
Some of the things that he likes, what he's familiar with. We know that Sebastian likes cats. We were told that his favorite song was Eye of the Tiger. We tried playing that to just kind of calm him and let him know we're here to help him. I'm sure that he could see what's going on here and be intimidated. But if he sees this newscast, I want him to know, Sebastian, come out. We're here to help you. We just want to get you home safe.
See, at this time, they are all in for finding him alive, you know, hiding out somewhere. They absolutely believe that he's walked off of his own volition. Absolutely 100%.
And at this point, have you guys ruled out any indication of foul play?
I won't say that we've ruled out any indication of foul play, but I will say that the family has been nothing but cooperative with us. Nothing but cooperative. There's no indication of foul play at the moment.
Okay.
So no indication of foul play, but they are only just over 24 hours in, and they've not ruled anything out.
Okay. How have those tips been of people coming in and offering up any information? Have you guys had any leads or any information that you can kind of share with that?
We've had several tips. One of the tips was that he was sighted off of Newman's Trail off Long Hollow Pike. We actually, when we got that tip, we sent a team out. We made contact with who they thought was Sebastian, and it was not. Again, that's a great tip. It could have been. So if somebody sees something, call us.
I think that was possibly the young man with his dad at a creek. Possibly. Possibly.
Let us know.
And do you guys know, I know you guys were checking shoes last night to see if he was barefoot.
No evidence that he walked out. Yes, there is. Plant lady, you're not listening. You're not listening because you've already got your bias. You're just not listening. Thank you, Mary D, for the $13.99 Canadian dollars. That hippo's doing exactly what I'm doing in my chair right now, like swinging it around. Because that's what I do.
Is that still the case? Is he barefoot? Because I know on Facebook somebody posted a picture of these could be his shoes, or is that so he is presumed to be barefoot at this point?
What I can say is that his mom says all of his shoes are accounted for at the house. I'm not going to say that he's barefoot.
He's absolutely right. Listen to that again. He's not going to say that Sebastian's barefoot. Even though his mum says that all his shoes are accounted for, he's not saying, and he has never said that Sebastian was barefooted. That's very telling, in my opinion, that they believe that Sebastian, like me, I believe that Sebastian could have had a pair of shoes that his parents weren't aware of. He's 15, not 3. Listen to that again.
Do you guys know, I know you guys were checking shoes last night to see if he was barefoot. Is that still the case? Is he barefoot? Because I know on Facebook somebody posted a picture of these could be his shoes, or is that so he is presumed to be barefoot at this point?
What I can say is that his mom says all of his shoes are accounted for at the house. I'm not going to say that he's barefoot.
All right. And how's the family doing? Just to ask, I'm checking in with them.
Oh, I cannot imagine the struggle that the family is going through right now. I'm a dad. Director Widener's a dad. I don't know how they're handling it. I couldn't survive if something happened to my kids.
Doesn't sound like he thinks they're suspects.
Managing all of this, what's been going through your guys' mind, just kind of juggling all of these people and having people come in from outside agencies as well? I mean, what's been going through your mind?
Well, I think Director Widener said it best. Every time we debrief and talk about what we've done, we're asking, what ideas do you guys have? Because, I think I'm a pretty good law enforcement officer, but I'm not the smartest guy in the room, and I know that. So if someone's got an idea, and we've had some pretty good ideas come up, and we're gonna try everything we can. So keeping an open mind and doing anything we can to find Sebastian.
And then I also am told that he might be on medications as well due to his being on the autistic spectrum. What is that kind of looking like, and is that kind of upping the danger of the situation?
It definitely increases the volatility of the situation. The medicine was there. Obviously, we treat his autism. So,
but being that Seth is FBI, Seth is not from the FBI. Where have you heard that? Seth is not FBI. Oh, man. No. Seth was working as a corrections officer in a jail. He's not the FBI. Please. Please. No, look, you might not be American. I'm not American, but I understand the difference between the FBI, i.e. federal law enforcement people in America, and the corrections officer, who is somebody who looks after inmates in a jail. Aren't both parents military, though? No. Chris and Katie are both ex-military. They've not been in the military for some years, though, when Sebastian went missing. Seth has never been in the military. Katie and Chris are both ex-military. I think Chris did longer in the military than Katie did. I don't know exactly how long each of them served. But I thank them both for their service, and so should you. But I bet you're not going to do. Please do. Thank them for their service.
How he responds to that once the medicine is out of his system is really not my expertise, but I do know that it's going to have a negative effect on him. So it definitely is increasing.
And then as people approach him, if they see him, are they advised to move slowly or call you guys first? Or I guess what's the recommendation?
I would definitely say call us first. If you're close enough to talk to Sebastian, talk in a calm, slow voice. Let him know that you're not there to hurt him. You're there to help him. And hopefully you can build a rapport with him until we can get there and bring him back to his family.
About how many?
Oh my God. Chris did 16 years in the Navy and Katie did 4 years in the Navy. That sounds about right. Thank you, nonsense. I knew Chris had done longer than Katie. Yeah, Seth had done security jobs, but honestly, he seemed to like spending his time on disability and stuff like that, you know.
How many agencies are helping with this search?
Oh, we've got at least 10 agencies here. Yesterday, and Director Widener.
And Ken Widener, KENWEIDNER, Director, Sumner County Emergency Management Agency. So yesterday we had multiple agencies. We had 220 searchers on the ground, and we bring them in and they go through operations and they get assigned to search areas. So we're using a search program to track them, and they lay tracks from their cell devices, and we know where they're at, and they complete those search areas. They come back and they get reassigned, or we reassign them when they're in the field. So today we'll get a count on that, but I'd say we're over 150 searchers on the ground today, and multiple agencies, and you know, THP helicopter, and I'm not sure what the chief went over, Metro's helicopter, TBI fixed wing, over 10 drones. We've got 12 K9 teams here, 8 mounted units yesterday, horses yesterday, and 10 here today. So we're covering as much ground as we can.
That is a colossal amount of resource. Colossal amount of resource. I mean, when Eric Craddock said they threw everything at this search, they absolutely did. So for people to say that law enforcement did nothing, I think actually you need to give your head a wobble at the very least. They threw everything at this. They truly expected to find him alive, hiding out somewhere. That's what they believe. That's why they threw everything at this search. To have that many mounted people, 12 dog teams, the fixed wing plane, the helicopter, what did he say, 10 or 12 drones up. I mean, it's a huge effort. Huge effort. How many bodies of water are within a mile of his home? There's a lot of ponds, like shallow ponds. There's no major waterways. Like the river is about 5 miles south. There's a creek that runs kind of down the side of the cemetery, in between the cemetery and Sebastian's school. There's a creek that eventually makes its way into the Cumberland River, but it's not a deep creek. And then there's various ponds, like retention ponds and things like that. So the retention pond that the dogs tracked to, that was drained. That was drained and it was walked. Once it was drained, it was then walked. And then a month or so later, Narc Divers came and walked it as well. So Trey from Narc Divers. Thank you, Brady Violation, for the $9.99. New to my channel, I love that you tell the facts and call out the BS. Well, somebody's got to. It's more than me. There's more than me calling out the BS. We just gotta. We're small voices though, in a huge swathe of drama and insanity. I've never seen a case like this, honestly. Never. I thought the Summer Wells case was wild. But this has topped it. This has topped the Summer Wells case now. I never thought I'd say that, honestly.
And we keep expanding that search area. And we have pounded the area, the neighborhood that he went missing from. And
dogs did not hit on anything leading away from their home. That speaks volumes. Untrue. Plant lady, you're going to eat your words in the next presser. You're going to eat your words.
and the neighborhood adjacent, and we keep expanding that out.
And with the anticipation of the temperature dropping tomorrow and a chance for storms, is that going to change the search, or is it going to have any impact on his ability to survive?
We're concerned about the weather because we don't know exactly what he's dressed in, and we could have some flurries tomorrow. And the storm, so the wet, and you lose body temperature 30 times faster when you're wet than when you're dry in the air or in water. And so we're concerned about that and the chance that we could have flurries tomorrow and those dropping temperatures. So we're continuing to work with drones and FLIR, and we've actually utilized tactical teams, SWAT teams, the county ERT, and night vision that our operators have, and they've been in the field for many hours at nighttime.
Yeah, that was my next question.
So at night, when it's not safe to have like 200 people out there, boots on the ground, then that's when they send, the night vision out. So, the helicopter with night vision or the drones with night vision. That's what they do at night. But I like this guy. He's very, very well informed. And he mentions the weather here. Now, contrary to what a lot of people said, because they don't seem to be able to read temperature for whatever reason, people were saying, oh, well, it was like 30 degrees or something like that on the night Sebastian disappeared. So why would he have gone walking in 30-degree weather? No, it was warm. On the 25th, so the Sunday, you can go and check this out. Go and look up the weather for Hendersonville in February. It's all there for you to just go and look. It topped 70 degrees Fahrenheit on the Sunday. And the coldest temperature on that Sunday night into Monday, I think, was something like 57 degrees. So warm. It was warm. And then the 27th, the temperature started to drop. And as he's just said, they were expecting some flurries and, rain. And you can tell here that it's very, very overcast. So they were expecting that on the 28th. So that's why they were throwing, they were just hoping that they could find him before the weather turned, because it had been warm and that's, in their favor. But people were just so wrong about the weather. So wrong. I don't know whether people are still wrong, but they were so wrong. Believe maybe got stuck in a trash can or a dumpster. Oh, I do hope not.
Question. How do you guys operate these searches at night? I know last night it got dark pretty soon, and it's going to get dark pretty soon here today again. How does those searches go in, and how do you keep those effective? Yeah,
flashlights, FLIR, and night vision.
Max chased a scent, not Sebastian's scent. Isn't it strange that a scent-specific search dog, not just one, 4 different scent-specific search dogs? Go and look up the definition of scent-specific search dog, or scent-specific trailing dog, or scent-specific tracker dog. Right, you can use the terms interchangeably. I know trailing and tracking are different, but we're toning it down here for the misinformed. Go and look up scent-specific search dogs and what they do. Thank you, muchly.
Yeah. I'll tell you, we do change our tactics based on the weather. So last night we did that. Not ready yet to describe exactly how we did that, because we may have to apply that again tonight or tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And then at this point, what you were kind of talking about it earlier with the body kind of going into shock with these low light temperatures. And you guys have originally said that.
Worried about the car that was in the area around 3 a.m. Now, law enforcement haven't discussed that, so I'm not going to talk about that in this live stream, because I'm just focusing on what has come out from law enforcement. However, I will say I believe that car has been accounted for, and that will come up when I read the TBI newsroom.
Just because that's as far as usually someone will walk. But are you expecting at this point he'll be tired, exhausted, sleeping? I mean, I guess what are you kind of estimating here?
Teenagers are resilient. We're really hoping he has enough clothes on to stay warm. and we think that when he gets fatigued, he should rest. And he doesn't apparently doesn't sleep a lot at night, and he's more active at night. And
oh, look, Sebastian doesn't sleep a lot at night and he's more active at night. Oh, so could he possibly have gone walkabout at night? Oh, I think so. Oh, he couldn't possibly have gone for a walk at night. Why would he? Because he's active at night. Like, I'm active at night. I'm half asleep all day and then I'm active at night. Oh, and the person who said that I should stop lying, that I don't go walking at night, well, you're wrong. I didn't last night. I didn't go out last night. But night before, I went for a little potter. And no, I didn't take my phone with me. Oh, shock horror.
And you know, probably sleeps a little more in the day, so we hope he's laying down and resting, and we just want to we don't want him to outwalk the search, and the ground that he can cover on foot. We're working with that, and we're putting that into consideration when we.
The amount he could cover on foot, because he's not 3 years old, he's 15. He could outwalk the search, and they actually believe that he possibly did outwalk the search.
And to create the areas of research.
And who's helping out with the aerial researches as well?
There's multiple agencies. TBI's helped, Metro Nashville's helped, Tennessee Highway Patrol's helped, our drone team.
How can I not speak of the light video? Plant Lady, I want you to go back and look at how much I've talked about the light video over the last few days. If you want to inform yourself, please go back and look at my recent videos. Thank you muchly.
North Star has helped. Wilson County is going to come help with some aerial coverage. The Sumner County Emergency Management drone team has been phenomenal. There's really no limit. If there's a resource out there that can help us, we've called and we've asked for it.
Pretty much every county every agency in the county, and then counties from across the state, quite honestly. And you know, with the plea, and I think I heard Chief talking about that earlier. You know, we have a lot of people wanting to volunteer, and we are really looking to put trained personnel on the ground that are familiar with search and operations and have the ability to perform limited rescue operations. And we've got teams on standby if we have a rescue situation. And so there's a lot that goes into that, and we can track these personnel a lot easier. So.
Are divers still on scene as well, helping out?
They're on standby.
They're on standby.
They're on standby.
Is there anything else that you guys want to add that I've missed here?
Continue to share the social media page. If you see something, say something. Check your home surveillance video. Those are really the huge things that the public can do to help us right now find Sebastian.
So we had a child walk up, a lady walk up today with a child who's autistic. They're from Watertown, and the little boy wanted to tell us where he thought Sebastian could be, and he told me very forthright where he thought he would go if he were lost. That he would go towards creeks, and he would go behind buildings, and the different things that he would do. And he told his mom this morning that he wanted to come up here and tell us where he thought Sebastian might be.
Oh, and that's exactly where they looked. All right, next one. Next one. So this, I've got that on it. This is 2 days later, February 29th, because it was a leap year. So February 29th, this one. Okay.
Any moment right now, an update on the search for that missing teenager, Sebastian Rogers. Let's listen in live.
Here in a few moments, I'll go through some slides and show you what we've done over the past 4 days of searching. Really wanted to come to the community and ask for your help. We need you to search your properties every day, morning and night. If there's a shed or a crawl space or up under your mobile home or a tarp that's in your yard, check it every morning and check it every night. Look for any details that something has been disturbed. If there's a shirt that was there today that wasn't there yesterday, notify us. You can really help us by searching your own property twice a day.
Why? Because they believed Sebastian had walked away and was hiding. That's why. They were asking everybody in the vicinity, within miles. My first video on this case was the day after this. My very first video on Sebastian was on the 1st of March. And the reason why I'd been following the case, like for the 4 days it had run to this day, and I watched this press conference and I was so impressed by this press conference that I thought I'm going to put this out. I'm sure this kid's going to be found, but I'm going to put this out. And I focused so heavily on this press conference because it had so much useful information in it. And despite everything that law enforcement said, the case has still descended into absolute anarchy. Now, the case at the time I made my first video, there was only a handful of people following it. I think Trev Time had done maybe a couple of videos. There were very few people actually talking about this case because Sebastian went missing on the same day that Madeleine Soto did. And then very quickly, Madeleine Soto's case turned into one where, Stephen Stearns was arrested and then Madeleine's body was found. Madeleine's body was found on the 1st of March. So once that was all done and Stephen Stearns was in custody, that was all done by the shouting, and maybe Jen Soto knew something and whatever. But Sebastian's case, people just didn't pick it up. And then I think it was after Madeleine Soto died down that Sebastian's case ramped up. And then there was a Riley Strain case as well, kind of in the same area. So people who've been following Riley Strain's case came over to Sebastian's case. And it just descended after that first month. It descended into crazy time, absolute crazy time.
Like I said, we're operating under the assumption that Sebastian walked off, and we really need.
Oh, we are working. Do you want to hear that again? We're working under the assumption that Sebastian walked off. Do you want to hear that again? You can hear that again.
Twice a day. Like I said, we're operating under the assumption that Sebastian walked off, and we really need your help to ensure that he is brought home safely.
Okay, and when Chief talks about searching your homes, if you've got a farm, we're well aware that the tendency to follow creeks is great, and we've actually done some case studies, some history on calls and searches in the past where young men or young women have traveled to creeks. So we want you to look at creeks. We want you to look at ponds. And if you look at a pond, look for foot tracks around the pond.
And that is, again, I was so impressed. This guy has so much knowledge. Cam Widener has so much knowledge. If you're walking in a dense area, following a creek line is the easiest way to get from A to B. So it's really interesting that they've done case studies of searches from the past and where people were found and how people, moved around. So they're relying not just on, let's try this or let's try that. They're relying on established knowledge. So much experience here in this team. And yet people have rubbished them, which I find absolutely disgusting, quite frankly.
We'll go into, when Chief's ready, we're going to go into pictures and we'll show you our operational periods and the maps that we use to track our searchers. Okay, so this is day one, and all of the rings you see are a fixed wing aircraft, TBI's fixed winged aircraft.
So day one, so that would have been like the 26th. So this is the TBI's fixed wing plane. So it's doing large circles, right? Large circles. And then all of this colour in the middle is the foot searchers that you'll see in a minute.
And they fly, use a FLIR, and they do a continual circle on a 2-mile ring. And
so each one of these is a 2-mile ring.
The video,
obviously, it's a eye in the sky. it's not able to see what is under things. It can't look under things. So if somebody's under, like in a cave, or somebody's hiding under something, or stuck in something, or hiding in a crawl space, or is even under really dense foliage, that eye in the sky cannot see it. So that's why they need the boots on the ground and the dogs to be able to search the ground. So everything that's in the sky is limited. Yes, it has a wider range. It can see the bigger picture, so to speak, but it can't see very specific details. Now, that heat-seeking stuff, like if somebody's in a building, like, and everything's cold, there's a potential for that heat-seeking thing to see some heat coming from that, but it does have its limitations. Every different, every different medium that they use has its limitations. But the fact that they threw everything at this search, I just think it's incredible what they did in that first few days.
Quality and the pictures that they produce are amazing. And the lines that you see that are going all over the place, the green and the purple and the blues, those are helicopters, THP Metro. And then all of the lines in the middle, when you draw that in, those are our foot searchers. So in the first 2 days, we logged over 2,000 miles of personnel on foot doing searches in those search areas. If you want to go to the next page. So that's day 2. And you can see we're continuing to expand those search areas, and you'll see clues, you'll see markers. If a searcher finds something, they mark it. We send a detective or detectives to that scene or to that area. And if they find evidence, we haven't found any evidence. And but if they find something that they think is substantial, CID investigates it. Go on to the next day. That's the next day TBI was back. That second day we had really bad weather with rain, and so these are the rings from TBI again, and they did some almost tri-oval type figures when we were looking at particular areas.
I'm glad that the most interesting piece of information, and they had it in a little corner here. So look how detailed that is. So these circles are the plane, then these squiggles going all along here are the helicopter, and then everything in between are the ground searchers who've got this app on their phone. And then Kyle, can you keep turning the light off? I've trained him too well to turn lights off. And then here you can't read them, but these are kind of things that I assume that they've clocked to check or something. So I don't know that you can see Sebastian's house on here. I think you can on one of the others. Look, they're in that little corner. All right, we'll go from there.
When we were looking at particular areas and they were looking at streams at that time, and a lot of helicopter, and then more ground troops, and then we got one more day, and then today we're expanding west, and you can see those areas that personnel are searching. And so what we do is we get them in, and we've got an app that they utilize, and they create tracks, and you can see the tracks in those sections as they do the search. And we've got several other things going on. We're utilizing drones, K9, and UTVs, ATVs, horses, aircraft.
Why hasn't Seth's mom come back to search? I don't know. I don't know that she's a search professional.
And anything at our disposal to to get Sebastian located.
Like Director Widener said, what you didn't see on there was any drone track. The drones aren't tracked on Sartopo. What you didn't see on there were several assets that didn't have the app that day. So what you're seeing is what we know we have tracked. Like I said, we're operating under the assumption that Sebastian walked off. We have no evidence to disprove that.
Yeah, honestly, I don't blame like the grandma for staying away, to keeping out of the circus.
The family has been nothing but cooperative with law enforcement and our investigation. We are truly operating under the assumption that there's a child missing that needs our help.
We are truly working under the assumption that the child is missing and needs our help. Not that the child's been murdered, but the child has walked away and is missing.
So if the public is out there and you have a house close by or not close by, right? Check your property twice a day. If you find something, call us. If you have trail cams out on properties that you hunt, check them. If there's an image that you think could be Sebastian, call us. Anything, any tip that you have, call us. We want to bring Sebastian home.
And when the chief says, even if it's not right here, so I actually spoke to the incident commander of a search operation that happened west of here, and a 14-year-old went missing, was found 9 days later, 6.2 miles from home. So we're...
Oh my word, how can a 14-year-old walk 6.2 miles? Oh no, that's way too far to walk. 6 miles in 9 days, you could crawl it. You could crawl it. I'm assuming that person was just having a saunter and then a rest and then another saunter and then a rest. Dear me.
We're looking at, we don't want to go out too far, too fast, but even if you live in Davidson County, if you live in Robertson County, if you live anywhere in Sumner County. And
how far into the presses am I? Second presser, about halfway through.
Adjoining counties that you think he could have made it to your property, search those streaks, creeks, streams, tributaries, ponds, barns, outbuildings, vacant homes, anything, any place that you think he could be.
One tip, if you're searching your property, is to search it in pairs. If we have aerial assets up and they see someone walking alone through a field, we're going to deploy resources to make sure that is not Sebastian. Secondly, if you're out searching your field and something happens to you, someone needs to be able to call for help and tend to you while we're on the way to help you. So if you're searching, please search in pairs and be safe.
What's the weather been like to possibly affect the search?
Weather, our primary concern with weather is for Sebastian. So the cold, the rain that we got and the cold temperatures yesterday and into last night gave us concern for hypothermia. But for rescuers, we put rain gear on and we go. Our mounted people, we're using a lot of tactical officers at night with FLIR or with night vision. And so our search personnel, the weather does not bother them. They go and they're going to perform the search. We're looking at rain tomorrow. The temperature is going to stabilize a little bit. 245 and 17 are feeding us weather on request, and National Weather Service is working with us every day, sending us information if anything changes.
So the 26th was warm. The 27th was getting colder. The 28th, which was his yesterday, was cold. And then it was raining, and then it was going to stabilize. But their fear for Sebastian, like the 27th, the night of the 27th into the 28th, into the 29th, was hypothermia because it dropped so cold. It was warm when he went missing. It was now cold. So, it was, I guess what their greatest fear was at this time was that they were going to find him, but it was going to be too late. That he died of hypothermia, which he could well have done, sadly. He could well have done.
So,
Chief, I know you guys had asked for doorbell cam and surveillance camera. Have you guys been able, since Sunday night, Monday morning, been able to actually put eyes on Sebastian? Has any video actually shown him walking?
We have had several clips that have come in. Several of them we've been able to dispel that's not Sebastian on that clip. We are still working every lead that comes in. So as the video comes in, our detectives, we're working really well alongside the TBI and all of our other law enforcement partners in the region to make sure that we're getting on them just as quickly as possible.
But there hasn't been one video that you guys have had that you said that's.
There is not a confirmed sighting of Sebastian on camera.
Gotcha.
Was any of the canines able to pick up on his scent or something that can lead you to maybe a direction where he might have been?
We done.
Plant lady, are you still in? Are you still in the room, plant lady? Are you listening? Pin your ears back.
Done that. We've actually cast the dogs at intersections to see if they take us. And our dogs are scent specific.
Our dogs are scent specific.
And we have scent articles from the home.
We have scent articles from the home. Our dogs are scent specific. We have scent articles from the home. So when people who are misinformed come here and say they were tracking a scent but not Sebastian's scent, well, no, I don't think so.
And they have not. We have got.
Well, they've not found, so they've not taken them into a direction. So they cast them at intersections. So they start the dogs off at an intersection to see if they'll go in a particular direction, and they have not. However, listen to what he says next.
Gotten some tracks away from the home.
We've gotten some tracks away from the home. We've gotten some tracks away from the home because what did Max the German Shepherd do? What did the Bloodhound do? What did the Blue Tick Coonhound do? And then what did the dog that I've never been able to find out its breed? What did that do? They all tracked from the home up Kelling into the construction site and to the retention pond. That's what they did. You get muted for speaking your opinion. What's up with that? You've never been muted. I've never muted you, plant lady. And I can't mute you. I can put you in timeout. But that comes up in chat. Let's play that again.
Was any of the canines able to pick up on his scent or something?
So he's going to say they cast the dogs at intersections to see whether they'll take them in a specific direction, and they have not. The dogs are scent specific. They got scent articles from the home. However, they got some tracks away from the home. Listen carefully. Oh, you timed out, plant lady. Okay. All right. Well, you're back now. You're back now.
Something that can lead you to maybe a direction where he might have been?
We've done that. We've actually cast the dogs at intersections to see if they take us. And our dogs are scent specific, and we have scent articles from the home, and they have not. We have gotten some tracks away from the home, and we haven't had anything that leads us to Sebastian, obviously.
Can I put that one to bed now? Can I put that one to bed now? We had some tracks away from the home, but none that led us to Sebastian, obviously. We had some tracks away from the home. So from the home to the retention pond. From Ken Widener. How can the media misrepresent that? I don't know. Anyhow. There you go.
You mentioned that you've covered about 2,000 miles, correct? What's the word on the amount of volunteers and people helping?
We'll address that later. We've still got plenty of, and what you got to understand is span of control and manageability. And I know there's a lot of talk out there. You know, you need to get more people out there, but we've got to do it coordinated, and we've got to be able to monitor and ensure the safety of our searchers. So right now we've got so many public safety assets that we can track and we can communicate with, that we are in good shape right now. And we are discussing the possibility of going into volunteers.
We have begun the conversation of coordinating with local volunteer groups. Should we need them, there's a plan in place. What I don't want is to have 1,000 people out in the woods, someone get injured, and now we have to deploy resources to them that should be deployed to get Sebastian home safely. As of right now, I've talked to the FBI, I've talked to world-renowned detectives from the Middle Tennessee area. And every one of them has said, we're doing everything that we should be doing. We're doing everything that we can. I'm open to ideas. If someone's got an idea that we're not applying yet, let me know. I'll apply it.
Do you know how many hours, how many miles you guys have clocked in and searched so far?
2,000 by foot the first 2 days. We're not tracking hours now. We'll put all that together. We'll do an after action report. But now we're going through the day, preparing this afternoon for tomorrow. We've got a team that's doing that. We've even got the tax assessor's office working with us on additional mapping for streams and creeks that we want to make sure we're covering. And I'll tell y'all, we're hitting streams and creeks heavy. So that's something we need done is creeks, streams, tributaries checked, because the watershed from the Tyree Springs area coming down in here. One thing I've learned about autism is the stamina, the pain threshold, the drive in these men and women, young boys and young girls is greater than ours. Okay.
Oh no, but Sebastian couldn't possibly have walked 5 miles. Couldn't possibly have. Now look, I don't know that every single autistic person has got more stamina than everybody else. I can't say that's true. Maybe in Ken Widener's experience, though, searching for autistic people, maybe autistic people do have, because they've got an idea in their head, they're obsessed with it, they're going to go for it. They're going to go for it, and they're going to just battle through pain. So maybe in his experience of working in search and rescue for so long, maybe he's seen people. And remember, they've done case studies on how people are found and where people walk when they're out there. So I listened to this guy. I listened to him because he's got a lot of knowledge. A lot of knowledge.
So the particular case in northern Mississippi and West Tennessee, this young man walked until he passed out. And when they got to him, he was laying face down, and they were like, oh my, but he was unconscious. And they've done stories on him. And
imagine that. I don't know which case that is. So if anybody knows who that is, the average person, once they get tired, they just kind of sit down and have a rest. But this young man that he's talking about from North Mississippi had walked until he passed out. He'd literally walked until he passed out. What if Sebastian walked till he passed out and then sadly died of hypothermia? What if Sebastian was walking on a mission to get somewhere for whatever reason and he fell down one of those crevices? What if he fell down an open manhole? What if what if? We can say what if forever, because none of us knows what happened to Sebastian Rogers. But one thing I can absolutely tell you is that law enforcement believes Sebastian walked off of his own volition. That's what they believe.
So that's something we're looking at, and we urge people to get out and check those locations. A lot of farms in Sumner County, a lot of creeks in Sumner County, check them.
I hate to cut you guys off, but I'm really focused on getting Sebastian home, and we need to get back out and make sure we're doing everything we can. I really appreciate you guys being here and covering the story. And as soon as there's an update, I'll let you know. Thank you.
All right. So that's the 29th of February. So that was 4 days into the search. Then we got this, which was just a little update. So this was just Ken Widener. One of the reporters managed to just have a word with him. So this was March the 3rd. So this reporter here spoke to Ken Widener. So let's play this.
Elements in Jackson, we understand reward money is now on the table.
That's right, Blake. The Sumner County Sheriff's Office tells us that a group of local investors invested a minimum of $3,000 toward any information that was.
So that didn't pan out. I don't know what that $3,000 was, but that didn't pan out. So that's old news.
Would help investigators in finding Sebastian Rogers. I now want to bring in EMA Director with Sumner County, Ken Widener. Ken, as we near this week-long search effort, where are you focusing starting today?
Well, we keep expanding. So we've expanded west, and we're expanding north. We just keep expanding the search area and we're bringing different teams in. Yesterday we had a group from East Tennessee come in. They're mountainous experts, and they do caves, and so we've had any cave that we've marked, we've had them in those caves. The city of Gallatin has done all the storm drains in the area with cameras.
So storm drains with cameras, he's about to say. But they did that for Caleb Harris in Texas, and 4 months later, Caleb Harris's remains were found in a pump house. So the only way his body could have got in a pump house is through the drains. So check him again. I would like you to check him again just once. But storm drains, and they had a team from East Tennessee come in to check the caves that they found. But there's so many of them, and them crevices and holes, there's so many of them that I believe that Sebastian could have fallen down a crevice and that he's just been missed. But it's not for the want of trying. It's really not for the want of trying.
Cameras, so we keep expanding and just throwing everything that we can at it to try to get him located.
And in terms of the search, you said you've been expanding. About how much ground have you covered?
We're close to 5 miles now. Now, the further south you go towards Hendersonville, we get into the city, and we would expect he would be located or seen if he were in the city. And we've gone into the city, sort of in the fringe, in the more not as urban areas of Henderson, but we've been all the way to the lake on the streams that travel to the lake. We've been to the lake.
And you have over 300 searchers.
So the lake is, I'll show you. I know exactly where he means. So if you go about 5 miles, it's about 5 miles to here. So it's actually part of the Cumberland River. So you've got like this, I assume it's like a dam. So they've gone down as far as there. And they followed the creek down. So there's a creek that goes, I can never quite locate it, but where is it? Is it there? But there is a creek that passes by Sebastian's school. Can never quite find it. It's either this side or this side. I think it's there. But anyway, there is a creek that goes down and it joins the Cumberland River down here. This is the Cumberland River. So they've gone down as far as there, but you know, as they get in, I mean, look how built up that is. You know, if he walked 5 miles down to here, I absolutely do not believe he did, or else he would have been seen. He would have been seen because there's so many houses. You know, there's major roadways. I absolutely believe if he'd gone south, this far south, he would have been seen by somebody. Somebody would have seen him. So I don't believe he walked this way, at least that far that way. I've always believed he walked north simply because he had ties to White House School, which is up here in the town of White House, which was also said on the dispatch audio. That's what I've always believed, that he was walking north. Could he have walked south? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely could have. But if you get to there, you start getting, you know, really built up. If he'd gone down here or he'd walked down here, I absolutely believe someone would have seen him. Someone would have seen him, surely. So they expanded north and they expanded west because that's the densest area with the least amount of houses. I mean, there are houses like scattered, like along that road, and then you got some there. But there's a lot of woods and a lot of caves, an awful lot of caves and crevices. Awful lot of caves and crevices.
here
Well,
yesterday.
They had 330 on the ground, and then we'll run the numbers later today on how many come in today, and we run that as the day goes on.
And 43 years in law enforcement, you told me. What does this experience look like in terms of people coming together to help out?
43 years in law enforcement. 43 years of experience in law enforcement. And yet people are believing at night private intelligence and Dog the Bounty Hunter, as opposed to the man who's got 43 years in law enforcement. Okay, makes sense.
Out in this one mission to find Sebastian Rogers.
Well, one thing about Tennessee and the Southeast is we're always going to have people that want to help, and we get calls from across the state for people that want to come in and help us. And the thing that we've got to do is be able to manage that. So we track everybody that's on the ground. The first 2 days we did 2,000 miles of people walking, and we haven't run those numbers for the entire duration of this operation, but. It's great, and to be able to call in specialized groups that do the things that we can't do is really good.
And what keeps you going as you're keeping going after this week just to find Sebastian Rogers? How do you keep going, you and your team?
Oh yeah, just the drive to find him. We'll go talk to the parents in a little while, and every morning we sit and talk to them. We want to do everything for them and for.
We want to do everything for them. Doesn't sound like Ken Widener, with his 43 years in law enforcement, believes that any of the parents are suspects, does it? Doesn't sound like that to me, does it? No.
Sebastian, to get him located.
Thank you so much, Ken. If you do have any information, you're asked to reach out to the Sumner County Sheriff's Office or the TBI. Also check those cameras, like they said, Sunday to Monday, Sunday afternoon to Monday morning. For now, live in Hendersonville, Jaxie Pigeon, back to you.
All right. So that was a little interview with Ken Widener. Next one, sadly, is the presser where they say that they're scaling back on the ground search. So this is March the 4th. So this is just a day after Ken Widener spoke to that reporter, and they say they're scaling back. So this is only short. I mean, literally short, 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Around the home, also in the home. The house was searched multiple times. There's no sound. Oh, dear me. All right, okay. StreamYard's done it again. StreamYard has done it again. All right, we have to stop the share and then share it again. It's so annoying. It does this every now and again. Hold on. That's not the right one. That's not the right one. That's not the right one. There we go. All right, we should be all right now, I think. Let me know. We'll go back to the beginning. Can you hear now?
Hey, good afternoon. I'm Eric Craddock from the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, and I'm the Chief Deputy here, joined by Ken Widener, the Director of Sumner County EMA. Wanted to come to the public and give you guys.
We got the sound now. Good.
As an update on the search for Sebastian Rogers. Last Monday morning at about 6:30, Sebastian was.
Oh, I know. Coffin Daffer put out the clear insinuation Sebastian was underweight. Yeah. Whatever.
Reported missing from his home. Since then, we've conducted an extensive and exhaustive search around the home, looking for any evidence, any trace of Sebastian. At this time, the decision's been made to scale back on the ground search operations. Let me be clear that this does not diminish our commitment to finding Sebastian. This is simply us transitioning from the ground search to the investigative side, We are still committed to finding Sebastian and bringing him home safe. We have no leads, no details to indicate that Sebastian is not alive. We are going to follow up on every lead.
So we've got no indication that he's been murdered, in other words. This is normal, by the way. They can't go forever. I wish they'd gone longer. I wish they'd done... You know, I think that Sebastian could easily have outwalked their search. Easily have outwalked their search. He could have outwalked their search area before they even knew he was missing. But at the same time, I understand that at some point they have to scale back. Like the amount of resources they used in those first few days was colossal. They couldn't have carried that on. They couldn't have carried that on. Like they have budget requirements and all of that stuff. And when they talk about the investigation, there's always an investigative side. There's two prongs to any missing persons case. You've got the ground search, or the actual boots on the ground, or the plane in the air, or the helicopter, whatever. And then you've got the investigative side. So the investigative side starts immediately. Like the investigative side includes things like, checking surveillance cameras and interviewing people and all of that stuff. That starts immediately, just like the actual search does. They go parallel. But when they scale back on the ground search, then there's less people involved, but you have more of a focus on targeted searches. So where there's a particular focus, that's where they send the people that they've got available. So it's more targeted, as well as that continuation of the investigative side.
We have a planned response. If anyone has a sighting of Sebastian, our patrol deputies will be out. Our investigators will be out. We are still coordinating with law enforcement across the state. We are still consulting with experts. This decision does not come lightly. We have consulted with, and I've deferred to the experts in search and rescue. Every time we've asked, they've said you've done everything you can do. At this time, Director Weiner?
Yeah. So we'll continue to have a command post at the fire station there. We won't man it 24/7, but we will have K9 units in the area. We'll have teams ready to go. The sheriff's office will have deputies on patrol, and if we get any report, we'll respond to that location. We'll send K9 to that location and search teams should we get any information. So we will continue, and any tips we get, we will reactivate to the level we need to respond with.
I'd like to take a moment and thank all the first responders from across the state of Tennessee that have come out and help us in the search for Sebastian. They've come from as far as Knox County. We've called in the state National Guard to help. The Army National Guard was here to help. If there was a resource we thought we could utilize to help locate Sebastian, we've used it. And we will continue to do so based on the leads that come in. The Sheriff's Office continues to urge families to check your properties, to check your cameras. No detail is too small. If you have a detail that you think is important, please call 615-451-3838. Thank you. Roger.
Cam Widener, he looks so upset. I think he just looks really upset. Like, I think he would have gone on forever. But it's really sad. It's really sad that they have to scale back. They do. They have to scale back. Thank you, Auntie Ree, for being a member for 6 months. Thank you so much. Only trying to remain a monthly member of. Oh, thank you. All right. This is the last press conference that they did. Way back in April the 2nd. So we went a month without a press conference. If there's one that I've forgotten about, let me know. These are all the ones I could find. And I don't think I've missed one. Now, Eric Craddock has spoken to camera a couple of times to Nick Barris from News Channel 5 Nashville. So he has spoken briefly to camera a couple of times, but I'm focusing here on the press conferences. And I have discussed those. There was one very recently where Nick spoke to Eric briefly, who is now the sheriff of Sumner County. But I discussed those when they happened. And I kind of think, why don't they have a press conference to address the absolute insanity that's gone on? And then I instantly check myself and think, why should they? Why should they? Because it's just going to generate even more drama. Like, everybody will just pick apart every single word they say, because people don't believe the things they say because they don't fit the narrative that they want to spew. And it's so sad. All right, so this is the last press conference, and then we'll go to the TBI after this.
Chief Deputy at the Sumner County Sheriff's Office. I'll be joined today by Susan Nyland, SUSAN-NILAND, of the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. She's the PIO. I also have with me Sumner County Emergency Management Director Ken Widener, KenWeidner.
Yeah, I think you're right, Auntie. What you water grows. They don't want the madness to get bigger, so they're giving it no oxygen. Yeah, I see that. I absolutely see that.
You guys ready? All right. Morning. I'm Eric Craddock with the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, and we're going to come to you today with an update on the Sebastian Rogers case. Sebastian has been missing since late February.
Huh? What's happened?
It's ongoing. Tip that comes in.
Oh, it's them. It's them losing the connection. But I thought it was me, but it's not. It's them.
As I said before, the investigation remains ongoing. The entire community is deeply saddened by what has occurred. We're all extremely concerned for Sebastian's welfare.
No. Did Ellie ever state that about cameras jamming? No. There was no cameras jamming. There was no jammers. There was not. No. Please stop believing that absolute drivel that some creators are putting out. Absolute complete drivel. Nothing. No.
I want to encourage the community to stay vigilant, to report anything that they think may be of some significance to the investigation, no matter how minute it may appear to be to you. Please call 1-800-TBI-FIND with any tips, or the Sumner County Emergency Communications Center at 615-451-3838.
I know these numbers off by heart. I could repeat these numbers in my sleep. Kelly, thank you for joining. Welcome to the Secret Agents Club. Thank you. Press conferences are very interesting. Very interesting. People do not want to listen to facts, though.
We understand the anxiety and the concern that this case has caused in the community. We too share the anxiety and concern for Sebastian. I want to reiterate that we are doing everything we can to find Sebastian and bring him home. Despite the passage of time, the commitment to finding Sebastian remains unwavering. I said this when we scaled the search back. Our commitment to finding Sebastian remains. We will continue to investigate every possible lead that comes in. The Sumner County Sheriff's Office wants to express our gratitude to the community and the many individuals who have helped in the search, the many individuals who have called in tips, the many individuals who have printed flyers and kept Sebastian's face in the news. Nothing would make me happier than to wake up tomorrow morning with a tip that cracks this case wide open and we find Sebastian and bring him home. At this time, I'll turn it over to Susan Nyland from the TBI.
Right, so we got TBI speaking now. Thank you, Terry, for the $4.99. Thank you so much. Yeah, sometimes I think my sanity is right on the edge, but I do try to remain sane. I do try. So this is the TBI. You kind of think, oh, we're going to get Leslie Earhart. We were so used to seeing Leslie Earhart with the Summer Wells case, but no, it's someone else. So this is someone from the TBI speaking here now.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for being here. We know how invested everybody is in the search for Sebastian, in finding out what happened to him and bringing him home. And we want to let everybody know he has not been forgotten. Nobody's forgotten about him. Nobody has given up looking for him. At the beginning of this investigation, there was a large land search for him. It was very visible. There were also waterways, lakes, ponds that were searched. There were aerial searches with helicopters and drones and fixed wing planes. They were done at night. They were done on weekends. They were done during the day. That was very visible, and it was something everybody was able to see. But we want to let you know that even though there is not that high visibility in investigating this case, that we are not done. It's gone back to what could be considered good old-fashioned police work.
Good old-fashioned police work. Not ridiculous nonsense from the internet. Good old-fashioned police work. That's what they're focusing on. Thank you, Angie Baby, for being a member for 17 months. And yet, not long now till your OG badge. Not long now. Time will fly by. Of course, law enforcement will have things that they won't make public. Absolutely. Eric Craddock said exactly that to Nick Barris. Absolutely they do. But it doesn't mean to say that they're working on a secret murder investigation. That's not what that means.
Interviewing individuals, re-interviewing individuals, checking out leads, rechecking leads. We have been working with other law enforcement agencies who have had, in other jurisdictions, who have perhaps had some complex cases of their own that they have worked on to get tips from them. We have had, this day of technology with everyone having cell phones and doorbells and ring bells and surveillance cameras. That, as you can imagine, has been a bit of a chore to be able to collect all those and then review them. It's important so we know what's out there. We have been reviewing that, reviewing it again. We have had other agencies involved, the FBI.
And we'll talk more about that when we get to the TBI newsroom in a minute. Thank you, Angela, for being a member for 23 months. You've just got one more month to go, and then you get your OG. Get your OG badge in 1 month's time.
Has been helpful in that. Secret Service has also been helpful in that.
And the Secret Service, it doesn't mean to say that Chris Proudfoot is pulling strings with the Secret Service. They bring the Secret Service in along with the FBI if they want the top-notch, like things to do with surveillance, things to do with digital media. They've got all the best kit, better than the local law enforcements have. So if they want a really thorough search through Sebastian's games console, then bring in the Secret Service. They're the best people for that job.
So we are just trying to do whatever we can to advance the investigation. It has not gone to a place where anybody has forgotten about him or is not pursuing this. The parents have been cooperative throughout. At the beginning of the investigation, they have pretty much done whatever law enforcement has asked of them. At this point, we don't have any evidence. There is not any kind of an indication that there is a criminal element involved.
Oh, they've not got an indication that there's a criminal element involved. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Dear me. Shattering the narrative.
But we are keeping options open. We don't.
Of course you are, because you don't know what happened to Sebastian. So, of course, they're going to keep options open. But at this time, this was April the 2nd, they had absolutely no evidence, despite all of the work they'd done to date. There was no evidence whatsoever of a criminal element involved.
Know what has happened. We don't know where Sebastian is right now, so we are pursuing any and all avenues. We do want to caution there are some social media elements out there who purport to have information that is direct from the investigation. I just want to reiterate that is not the case. Some of the information that is being provided on some of the social media channels is inaccurate, incomplete.
That's not me, that's them. going on?
Because a lot of what has been out there in some of the social media channels has been rumors and speculations and theories, and some of that has been advanced and people have caught a hold of it as if it's what's really happening. That has resulted in us getting information that is either, you know, like I said, distracting. It's taking away time and effort from what the agencies need to be doing as far as looking for Sebastian.
And that was in April. It's got way more insane since then. So I bet the TBI and some of the I bet they just sit there shaking their head when they hear all of this crap that comes out. They must just sit there and think, geez, jeez.
We have had so far, as of this morning, 314 tips that have come in through the tip.
Tony's been acting like an arrest is imminent. I can't even look at that guy. He is so far removed from reality that I just have no words for him. I've absolutely no words for him.
Line, it's been mentioned, but I'll say it again. It's 1-800-TBI-FIND. We are also taking tips through email, which is tips to TBI, TBI, at tbi.tn.gov. What's next? We want people, as Chief Deputy said, to continue to remain vigilant, get Sebastian's picture out there, continue to share his picture, his information. Now that it's getting to be nicer, well, not today with the weather, but now that the weather has turned warmer, people may be more inclined to be in their yards. If you go out and see anything that looks different, let us know. Something where perhaps a teenager could have hidden. If you have a large amount of property in the area, or something that has any kind of holes or unstable footing or ledges where a teen could have gone to hide or to play. And you don't.
So they're still talking about Sebastian could have gone to hide somewhere where a teenager could have gone to play. Ledges, holes, all of that stuff. They're still concentrating on that to get people to check their properties. Why? Because they believe he walked away of his own volition. I'm not making this shit up. I'm not making it up. This is what they said.
Feel comfortable checking it out, let us know. We'll get somebody from law enforcement to go out there with you or to check it out themselves. We just want to make sure that every stone is unturned, that there's no stone left unturned, that we want people to make sure that we are looking everywhere we can. We do want to continue to get the tips, but please don't provide information that you might have seen through social media channels. If you have information about Sebastian, about conversations you might have had with him, things he likes to do, places he liked to go, any people he may have mentioned that are in his life, that could be helpful in finding out maybe what he was interested in.
No, they haven't stated otherwise since. No.
We want to thank the community. We want to thank the media. You guys have been really good about keeping his name in the public's eye. That's really important. And thank you for your diligence in providing that information out there. And as Chief Deputy said, we also want to thank the community. From the very first day, everybody has really been all in as far as whatever they can do to help in the search, to help pass information on, providing water for the teams that were out conducting the ground searches. So thank you again to everybody. I'm going to pass it back to Eric Credit.
The weather is rolling in. We've got time for some questions. So, yes, ma'am.
I was curious behind, sorry if I missed this, but has there been any indication at this point of foul play or anything of that nature?
There is no evidence to support foul play is involved in the disappearance of Sebastian.
But at this point, you don't rule it out?
We're not ruling anything out.
So 5 weeks, and you guys covered so much ground, searching, going back, researching, checked out every case of a possible sighting, nothing confirmed, not a trace of Sebastian anywhere, nothing found. No footprints, no video, nothing.
Nothing that is taken us to locate Sebastian.
And are there any working theories?
We come up with theories almost daily and try and investigate and make sure that we're doing everything we can to find Sebastian.
Sure.
Let me tell you how they work. They develop a theory. Then what do? They use a scientific method to analyze that theory. They try to find evidence to support their theory, but equally, they've tried to find evidence to refute their theory. That's what they do. Yeah, I absolutely believe that if they suspected foul play at this point, they would say so. Absolutely, they would.
Any of those?
No, sir.
2 questions, if I may. Have you ruled out Sebastian's mom's and stepdad's involvement in this case? And as a follow-up, have you cleared their alibi?
I think the TBI said it best. They've been nothing but cooperative with law enforcement since day one of this investigation. There is no evidence to support foul play on the part of Sebastian's parents.
Oh, no. No evidence to support foul play by Sebastian's parents. What about the 5 CPS reports in 2 years? That is a major clue. No, it isn't. We don't know that there's 5. You've just been told that there's 5 by nonsense spreaders on the internet. And even if there were 5 CPS reports, it doesn't mean to say that any of those reports has anything to do with the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers. I'll play that little clip again, shall I? All right, let me play it again.
And as a follow-up, have you cleared their alibi?
I think the TBI said it best. They've been nothing but cooperative with law enforcement since day one of this investigation. There is no evidence to support foul play on the part of Sebastian's parents.
No evidence to support foul play on the part of Sebastian's parents. Amen.
Is them moving to Memphis interfering at all with your investigation? Is it changing possibly the avenues of communication?
No, sir.
You mentioned, when you were asked about recent evidence, we've heard some rumors that WCH has some validity, that there was glasses found within the past few days. Can you confirm that?
There were some glasses found in the past few days.
Have you been able to identify if they were Sebastian's?
We are still investigating.
And they did investigate and they concluded that they were not Sebastian's glasses.
And on the Cajun Navy, have you found how is that coordination happening? Have you found their work helpful? Are you guys working in unison or separate teams?
The Cajun Navy is operating independently. They have not reached out to us.
Have you found their investigation or their work helpful, or has it been one of the distractions that has been mentioned?
One of the things that I really appreciate they've done is print flyers and keep Sebastian's face out there. It's my hope that one day somebody sees something and calls in and this case breaks wide open and we find Sebastian.
They claim they've received threats. To your knowledge, have they filed any police reports or reports to the Sheriff's Department documenting any of these alleged threats?
No, sir.
Are we able to learn anything about what those threats are?
They would have to call the police and report them.
Where's the search?
The threats that the Cajun Navy had. Well, they said that they reported the threat that they had to the Nashville Metro Police. So maybe, I don't know. But all these threats that people keep saying that they're getting don't seem to have materialized as, things that have been said to law enforcement. I don't know. Because both sides have said that they've had threats. So, I don't know.
Go from here. It's been 5 weeks. There's been no signs. Do you believe he's still alive? And what are you guys going to continue working on?
My hope and prayer is that Sebastian is still alive, yes. We're going to continue to work on this investigation and follow up every tip and lead that comes in. Some of this may revert back to us going over some things that we've already done for the 6th, 7th, or 8th time. A fresh set of eyes never hurt anything. We're going to continue to work to find Sebastian.
Have the stories been changing at all? Have you been talking with people, interviewing them for a second time possibly?
There is no evidence to support foul play.
There is no evidence to support foul play.
Are there any active current leads that you guys are pursuing?
We have tips called in daily.
any of those tips seem legitimate enough to expand law enforcement resources?
Regardless of their legitimacy, we're going to follow up on them.
Will there be any other agencies pulled in to help in the search efforts for this case?
I'm certain there will be.
You met with the biological father and mother this past week. Is that at their request, your request? Is that just re-interviewing them again?
That was at the request of law enforcement. It's not uncommon to talk to the family in investigations like this.
I think that's when they were showing him the surveillance video. I don't quote me on that, but I think it was around that time where they got Katie and Seth together to show him the surveillance.
I've got time for one more question.
One more question.
Just overall, how has this investigation impacted the morale at your department, especially with all the scrutiny coming on?
Let me put it to you like this. If my kid was missing, this is the team I'd want on. The men and women of the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, of the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations, the FBI partners, the other local agencies, the Secret Service, everyone who's had a hand in this case is doing everything they can to find Sebastian. Morale's high. We are here and we are dedicated. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you for keeping Sebastian in the public. Please continue to publicize this photo. Thank you all.
There we go. Do they theorize about the help or hindering of the boosted rewards supposedly being offered? Can those reward offerings derail the investigation at any point? The boosted rewards that are being offered are imaginary. There is a $50,000 reward from the FBI. Everything else is just imaginary. All right, this is the TBI Newsroom. Hopefully, you've all read this before. Hopefully, if you've been following this case for any length of time, this should be your Bible. Because this is everything that the TBI have posted about Sebastian. Everything is here. They've got a similar one of these for Summer Wells. So we have to go down. We're going to read it from the bottom up. All right. So these are the pictures that the TBI have posted. Remember when the case was new, somebody had a go at me. Somebody had a right go at me in my comments for posting that picture of Sebastian. It's like, why? The TBI. The TBI have posted that picture. Why? What have I done wrong? Sebastian with his dogs. Sebastian, I don't know what that is. Big scarf. He's got such an infectious smile, hasn't he? So infectious. All right, so these are the Q&A. We'll do Q&A first. Yeah, we'll do Q&A first. Actually, we'll start there. So 3/15/24. So what? Not quite a month after Sebastian went missing. On February 26, 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers disappeared from his Sumner County home, leading to a large-scale ground search that resulted in first responders covering about 2,000 total miles in an effort to find him. That's the Amber Alert that we should all be familiar with. We continue to work with the Sumner County Sheriff's Office and the FBI to proactively pursue information that may be relevant to the search for Sebastian and to pursue any tips or pieces of information that come in. We have not forgotten about Sebastian. Much of the work currently being done to bring Sebastian home may not necessarily be public or visible. But agents, detectives, and intelligence analysts continue to work around the clock to review every bit of information available. Sebastian's family has remained cooperative since the search began and have done whatever law enforcement asked of them. At this stage in the investigation, there are few clues to indicate what happened to Sebastian or where he may be. There is not proof at this time there is any criminal element involved in his disappearance, but also there's not any proof that there is not a criminal element involved. So agents and investigators are reviewing any possibility that may indicate where Sebastian is. In order to preserve the integrity of the investigation, we cannot discuss many of the specifics surrounding the case, but we know how many people care about Sebastian and what has been done is still being done to bring him home. However, we want to caution the public about putting too much stock into information being presented in various media forms that is inaccurate or incomplete and could be damaging to the investigation. We ask the public to help us by refraining from sharing speculation posted by or discussed by non-official sources, including elderly, previous fugitive hunters who used to have a TV show, including those people as well, and reporting only credible tips or information to 1-800-TBI-FIND, not to Dog the Bounty Hunter's tip line. Information that has been released by the TBI and or Sumner County Sheriff's Office throughout the investigation included a list of frequently asked questions can be reviewed below. All right, so they've not added to these for a while. So anything that hasn't been added to, one would imagine that is still in play, isn't it? Still in play. All right. What areas have been searched? Within the first several days of the search, more than 2,000 miles were searched on foot. Many of these areas were initially searched and searched again. Law enforcement officers have searched the neighbourhood, surrounding neighbourhoods, schools, and many other areas of the county by foot. Bloodhounds and handlers have searched the same areas. There have been aerial searches with helicopters, drones, and a fixed-wing plane. These aerial searches have been conducted on multiple days and multiple nights using thermal imaging technology. Sebastian's residence, the yard, the house, the vehicles have all been searched multiple times. The neighbourhood where Sebastian lives has been canvassed. Neighbours' houses have been searched. Sebastian is autistic and his family says he's drawn to water. Pools in the neighbourhood were searched. Dive teams were brought in and bodies of water around the neighbourhood and beyond that area were searched, including caves. What about the technology aspect? Have you collected security video from area homes and businesses? Have cell phones been checked? Many neighbours and businesses have provided video from home and business surveillance systems. We are grateful for that cooperation. The video has been collected and from the beginning of the investigation has been analysed and enhanced where possible by tech experts within the TBI, FBI and Secret Service who've got the best technology available to analyse surveillance video, to enhance surveillance video and to look at digital media. To date, nothing gathered from these video systems has been determined to be significant, including the lights video thing. We do caution that some surveillance video being shared in the public may have been misinterpreted or misidentified or not shown in its entirety. They're talking about the lights video here because they only showed the little right-hand corner. It has been determined that it does not hold any evidentiary significance in the investigation. Numerous search warrants have been executed. They have to do search warrants for things like social media accounts, stuff like that. Cell phone data has been analysed and any other available digital evidence has been collected, searched and documented, including the parents' phones. Information was collected from Sebastian's gaming system and has been analysed. With help from the FBI, vehicles that were placed in the area at or around the time of Sebastian's disappearance have been accounted for. So that includes the 3 a.m. vehicle. That was accounted for. They know who that belonged to. These videos and all the electronic evidence has been reviewed and is often being re-investigated. What's going on now in the investigation? What's next? The search for Sebastian has not stopped. Every day, tips and leads are investigated. People are being interviewed and re-interviewed. Evidence that has been reviewed once already is being gone over again. We continue to ask residents in the area of the search to keep an eye on your property to see if anything may have moved or be displaced. Is this a place where a child could have hidden? If you have property that has ledges or holes that a teenager might find interesting and you can't search it yourself, please contact the tip line and we will have someone check it out for you. If you know Sebastian or have information about him, what he likes, how he acts, that you think could be relevant, let us know. We know how many people are so very invested in getting Sebastian home. We will update this information as there may be any developments. Please use the tip line 1-800-TBI-FINE to provide any relevant information, or send it to tips2tbi@tbi.tn.gov. Please do not send tips to our social media pages. Finally, we are extremely grateful to so many members of the Sumner County community for the time, attention and prayer being offered to help find Sebastian. The members of multiple law enforcement communities, emergency management personnel, wildlife organisations and many other groups, along with the very generous businesses and individuals who have provided well wishes for Sebastian, along with water, food and other comforts to searchers. All these contributions were so greatly appreciated. Thank you. All right, that's the Q&A. So all of that is still in play. So that was March. So moving up. So 3/22/24, so a week later. So that was 3/15/24. So we got a little update, 3/22/24. Special agents and intelligence analysts continue to go over and review information that has been collected since the search for Sebastian began. They also continue to follow up on tips and leads as they come in. To date, more than 240 tips have been provided through the Tips to TBI email and the 1-800-TBI-FINE tip line. We still encourage residents who live within the search area to check their property, their outbuildings, under decks, inside boats or cars, anywhere a teen may be able to hide. I haven't been making this stuff up for the last 10 months, you know, because some people seem to think that I just make stuff up. No, I go by the facts as they stand. And I've stood for the last 10 months. I haven't made any of it up. People in my comments. Crazy days. I've started my ban list again, by the way. All right. If residents have property that has terrain that may include ledges, holes, or unstable footing and don't feel comfortable assessing it themselves, we can have someone with law enforcement do that for them. Much of the work being done to track down information about where Sebastian may have gone is not something you will necessarily see in the public. But we want you to know that every day work is being done to find Sebastian. Any information you may have about Sebastian, what he likes to do, where he likes to go, people he may know. If it can help us find Sebastian, please let us know. All of that indicates to me that they believe Sebastian went missing of his own volition. 4/3/24. All right. All right. So into April now. TBI special agents are joining investigators with the Sumner County Sheriff's Office and law enforcement agencies from surrounding counties to conduct another thorough search in the Long Hollow Pike area in reference to the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers. So when this happened, right, EquiSearch were there. There was a whole bunch of people there, all sorts of people there. And they focused around the main road here. They were walking, not exclusively, talked about this a few days ago in a video, not exclusively, but they were walking this road, Long Hollow Pike. Why? Because one of their theories was that Sebastian had been knocked down by a hit-and-run driver. Again, I didn't make this up. This is one theory that they had to investigate. This is what they were doing. They were walking up and down these roads because you've got wooded areas to the side. Right? I don't know how far they went, and it wasn't exclusively Long Hollow, but they were walking this area because if Sebastian had been knocked down, like he'd wandered about in the middle of the night and he'd been knocked down, maybe the driver didn't know that they'd hit a human. Maybe they thought they'd hit a deer or something. But it's one theory that they did look into. They absolutely did. I believe, and this is now just my personal opinion, I believe that Eric Craddock wouldn't tell Nick Barris that the lights video was the trash truck just in case Sebastian had been knocked down and they suspected that the trash truck knocked him down. That's just my theory as to why Nick Barris wasn't given an answer like the parents were, that, oh, it's just the trash truck. I just think they're keeping the possibility open that Sebastian could have been knocked down in a hit and run accident. And if somebody is like sideswiped, so look, if you hit head on, right, hit head on at speed, and you're a very small person, like a young child or a dog, you tend to get flung upwards. Now, the leading when my son was killed, the lead investigator, who was a very seasoned traffic cop, I think that was his job, like he was a traffic cop, but he was also a detective. He said that smaller people get flung upwards. It depends. It does depend on the exact angle, and also the height of the vehicle as well makes a big difference. But bigger people tend to get pulled under and basically pulled under the wheels, and then the vehicle runs over them. But if you're sideswiped, then all bets are off. Because if you sideswipe, then you've got a whole bunch of things that happen to, you know, the exact angle and the height and the speed, all of that comes together. So it's absolutely possible that you can get sideswiped. As a, you know, Sebastian was 5'5", so a decent size. If you sideswipe, he's not necessarily going to get flung up. So it's not necessarily going to be known to the driver that they hit a human. They might have just thought they hit a deer or a dog or something, but they didn't know they'd hit a human. So there's always that possibility, and that's what they were doing in this search. One of the things, maybe not the only thing they were doing in this search, but it's one of the reasons why they walk the roads. And they walk, like, you know, because they think, well, if somebody's sideswiped and they're injured and they're disoriented, you know, maybe they've hit their head, then they might crawl away. They might be able to walk away until they can't. And then they fall down and they die. So that's one of the theories that has to be still in play. Does have to be still in play. And I've not made any of this up, I promise you. Promise you. All right. While there have not been any additional information to indicate where Sebastian may be or been, trained search teams will again execute a ground search in the wooded and open areas around Sebastian's home and neighbourhood. And also, they want to cover some of the ground that they covered, you know, in the first search to see if anything's changed. And they had to do this at this time before all the foliage grew. Because once all the foliage grows, you know, this is April. Once all the foliage grows, then it's absolutely pointless. You're not going to be able to see anything. Additionally, we have been made aware that an altered version of the official TBI Amber Alert poster has been made and circulated throughout social media, indicating that this new poster has been verified. Please be aware that a lot of false information has been posted through multiple social media channels. The poster our agency has developed is the one below, this one. Yeah, somebody did do that. I don't think they meant to do anything mean. I don't think they meant it. All right, so this is the 2-month mark now. 2/25/24. April 26th. 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 Not 25th, 26th. Because Sebastian went missing on February 26th, not 25th. April 26 marks 2 months since Sebastian Rogers was reported missing from his Sumner County home. Since that time, TBI special agents from multiple units have been assisting the Sumner County Sheriff's Office in efforts to locate Sebastian. These efforts have included multiple large-scale searches on the ground, in water and from air. The searches have included multiple local, state and federal law enforcement agencies, including the FBI and Secret Service. Residents in the area have also conducted searches on their own properties in the hope of finding Sebastian or learning what may have happened to him. To date, there has been no confirmed sightings of Sebastian since the issuance of the alert. TBI special agents continue to review the information gathered since the investigation began, follow up on all leads or tips, and work with counterparts from other law enforcement agencies to review strategies and consider options. The Amber Alert for Sebastian Rogers remains active. We continue to encourage anyone with information to call 1-800-TBI-FIND or send an email to tips@tbi.tn.gov. Now, look, they're basically saying the same thing. They've nothing to update. Particularly, they've no reason to change their viewpoint that Sebastian has suffered some form of foul play. This is the last update. This is the very last update. 8/26/24. This was in August. Today marks 6 months since Sebastian Rogers was reported missing from his Sumner County home. The Amber Alert remains active. TBI special agents from multiple units continue to assist the Sumner County Sheriff's Office in efforts to locate Sebastian. In addition to following up on leads and tips as they come in, agents continue to review and reevaluate all the information gathered to date. Today, the FBI Memphis Field Office Nashville Resident Agency announced the offer of reward of up to $50,000 for information leading to the location and return of Sebastian, or to the arrest and conviction of those responsible for his disappearance. That does not mean that the FBI believes that this is a criminal investigation. They, like every other agency, are keeping the options open. Locate Sebastian, return him. You can do that if you find him in the woods, deceased. You've located him. You're eligible, potentially, for a reward. Or, if it turns out there is a criminal element to it, well, they'll deal with that. But there's been absolutely no update whatsoever. And it's not the case that the FBI only offers rewards in criminal cases. You can go to the FBI website and you can look at all the rewards. You've held your bladder for an entire 2 hours, 15 minutes. Well, I'll let you into a secret. I went to the loo during the last press conference. Anyone with information concerning the whereabouts of Sebastian Wainwright Rogers is encouraged to contact the Sumner County Sheriff's Office at 615-451-3838 or the TBI at 1-800-TBI-FIND or tips@tbi.tn.gov or contact your local FBI office, the nearest American embassy or consulate, or submit a tip online at tips.fbi.gov. And there is the FBI. The one that the FBI put out. The FBI is offering a reward of up to $50,000, not $250,000. $50,000. That's the reward. And he went missing February 26th. And there we go. That's everything. That's all the law enforcement updates that we've had that I could find. Press conferences and things written by the TBI. Again, Nick Berris has updated a couple of times with little clips from Eric Craddock. I wish that News Channel 5 would release those full interviews with Eric Craddock, because they're just little, like, 2-minute segments on the news, and you literally get a 30-second clip from Eric Craddock, And what you don't get is the context. I wish they'd release those interviews. If Eric Craddock has sat down with Nick Barris, even if it's only for 10 minutes, just release the interview. You know, yeah, all right, release it on your 2-minute segment first, but then the day after, release the whole interview. I don't know why they don't do that. It's annoying. Because what you don't get is that full context of what Eric Craddock is actually saying. Your live is your constellation prize for no cold case Christmas tonight. I know. I'm missing cold case Christmas as well. The reason I've been watching my own cold case Christmases because I've recorded them like a few days in advance. So I'm like, I wonder what case and what case was set for tonight. So I've been waiting for them and watching them as well. Oh dear. All right, so there you go. Those are the facts. Those are the facts. Absolutely no evidence of foul play. That has been said from day one and continues to be the information that is prevalent, is out there. At this stage, if they changed, if they had reason to believe that there was foul play, I believe they would say so. There's no vested interest in holding that back. There isn't. There's no vested interest in holding that back. Yes, there's certain details that they don't want to put out there for the integrity of the investigation. Absolutely not. They don't want specifics out there because we can't have nice things here on social media because we just run rampant with them and we blow them out of proportion. So what we absolutely need to think about is the information that is out there right now. The information that is out there right now. Right now. This is the information that is out there right now. This is the FBI, February 26th, $50,000 reward. That's the FBI. This is the Amber Alert. Those are the pieces of information. Those are the pieces of information. If I believed that law enforcement had done a bad job, I would say so. In cases where I believe that the FBI have done a poor job, I say so. Delphi, for example. I'm not true blue law enforcement and to hell with everything else. If law enforcement do a bad job in any case, I say so. I'm the first person to jump on them because they have a very important job to withhold the safety of the population and to begin that justice process if there is a crime. But where there is a missing person and there is no crime suspected, obviously, you know, they have to keep the options open because we don't know what happened to Sebastian. But they have no evidence at all, none, zero, zilch of foul play on behalf of the parents or anyone else that we know about, but certainly the parents. They've said it again and again and again, and they have never changed. They have never updated their facts. They've never wavered on that. And where that is in a case that has been incredibly well investigated, honestly, I have to believe them. I have to believe what they're telling me. If I thought they'd done a really shoddy job of investigating, I would tell you. Chris Watts, it was a shoddy job. Thank God that he confessed. Or else I don't believe that they would have ever got justice for Shanann and those little kids if Chris Watts hadn't confessed, because they made such a shoddy job in the first couple of days of that case. They lost so much evidence, so much in the first couple of days. Not so in this case. I believe they've done everything right. Everything they could have done, they have done. Everything they have done right. And the amount of agencies, the amount of people who've had eyes on this case, you know, from the inside, the amount of scrutiny that it's had, you know, from the FBI, the Secret Service, being involved in the digital side, I don't think anybody could have done any more. So to have, you know, aging bounty hunters coming in thinking that they're doing it better, no, they're not. No, they're not. So please do not fall for this absolute nonsense. Please don't fall for it. Stick with the facts. But hey, there's no money, there's no clout. Like, I've got what, 300 people. If I was talking drama, I'd have 1,300 people in. Easy. Easy. But no. People don't want to learn about the facts, do they? No, no. All right, guys, I'm going to leave you be, and let Broken Goth Doll go to the loo. And I've run out of cans. I've drunk a can of Pepsi Max and a can of Tango Mango while I've been talking to you. So. They did not luminol the house. Oh, plant lady. Plant lady. Plant lady. No. Oh, no. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. They forensically tested the house. Whether they used luminol or whether they used other tools. They used ultraviolet. Go and look it up. They used ultraviolet light. Go and look it up. They also had teams of cadaver dogs who went round that house. Were there any hits? No. If there's an indication of, blood being cleaned up, it's going to show up under ultraviolet. Then they bring in the luminol. That's what they do. So, plant lady, try again. Try again. They searched that house multiple times. Multiple times. Just stop it. Walking, talking, Dunning-Kruger. Well, on that note, yeah, there's a lot of people experiencing the Dunning-Kruger effect. Yeah, go and look it up. All right. Thank you all for joining me on this Sunday afternoon for most of you. It's, what time is it? Oh, it's 6:30 or 7:30. I can't see. My brain is so bad. 6:30, I think. Yeah, 1836. Starting to sound like the same theory is being used again and again. Well, yeah. Who knows? Anyway, thank you all. Thanks, mods. Thank you to those that donated earlier on in the live stream. Welcome to the new member. I think we just have one new member today, I think. But I've got a little outro I'm going to play for you. I played it on my very last Cold Case Christmas right at the end. So I'm going to play us out with this. So bye, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you very soon.